Is Man United's season over? They've crashed out of the Champions League, coming fourth. Absolutely embarrassing. And it's shocking because whatever you say about football, there are a few clubs that are mega clubs, that are institutions in the sport, and Man United are one of them. This is the equivalent to when people were shocked and dismayed when Barcelona were in the Europa League last season, when Juventus got relegated out of the top tier of Italian football. There's so many where the big clubs have at points underachieved, not won the things that they should have won. Maybe the Galacticos at Real Madrid with Beckham and all that didn't win enough, didn't win European silverware with that era of Galactico. This Man United side coming fourth in the Champions League is pitiful. This isn't, when sides get to the Champions League sometimes and you come fourth and you're just kind of in it to win it. This is Man United. They got to the FA Cup final, nearly won that last season. They won the League Cup final last season. They got to the Champions League with some great form. Marcus Rashford in fantastic form, and Casemiro is electric. I know they've lost Martinez. He's a massive, massive blow. I know they've lost Casemiro. Massive, massive blow. But this is Manchester United football club, and their season, for me, appears to be over. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and obviously make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Would really appreciate it. Really cataclysmic performance in the group. We'll talk about the game in a minute, but the group itself, we're talking Galatasaray's first win, I think, ever on European soil in this stage of British soil at this stage in European competition. They really struggled in Turkey as well. I think you have to look at the first Bayern game where I know it was end to end. What was it, 4-3? I think it was. It was a great game for the neutral. I do get that 1,000,000%. But then you also think, hang on a second, Man United, they got crushed. And Bayern Munich never got out of second gear. And Onana was making so many mistakes that you think the actual foundation of this Man United side that Ten Hag's put a lot of trust in Onana was ripped apart early doors. And they were making some really poor mistakes. And his were culpable of setting the tone for the rest of the group. There's no question about that. Then you have to look at the performance against Copenhagen, where they gave up in the final 20 minutes. You have to say, as neutral as possible, you have to let me know if I'm being biased, but the red card for me, for Rashford, I think it was really poor from the referee. It was never a red card, and a little bit of luck in this day and age, especially with refereeing that doesn't go quite your way, can be a major, major issue. Can be a major, major cause for concern. Because Man United don't have the quality to get themselves out of issues where the referee can hinder you a little bit, especially European referees. So Rashford, gets sent off, and United weren't quite able to hold on to the result at the time. And let's talk about the game tonight. I don't think Bayern Munich were very good tonight. I don't think they got out of second gear. I've been saying that a lot in this video, but I don't think they did. I thought Goretzka was a little bit anonymous in midfield. Leroy Sané was a little bit rusty with some of his touches. Smooth and elegant at points, and there were some lovely passages of play. Musiala, did he run the game? I don't think he did. I think Man United were equal to Bayern Munich for 70 minutes of the game. It was a 0-0, obviously up to that point anyway. I think Amrabat in midfield was decent. I think Harry Maguire, before he got injured, was decent. Even Johnny Evans didn't look out of place. So I think this Man United side were set up in quite a rational way, where I think they competed. I think they competed with Bayern Munich. Now, obviously, there'll be a debate because Bayern Munich are now able to go on. They'll be able to win knockout games, and they'll go far. And Man United came fourth. But I think the reason of frustration would be that you're playing them in the group stage. You both have an equal opportunity to get out of the group. One comes out basically clear without basically barely losing a game or dropping points. 14 points I think they got, Bayern Munich. And Man United come bottom with 4. But then tonight, in the final game of the group, Harry Kane's playing and all these incredible players. Alphonso Davies. And Man United did have the capability and they did have the quality in the squad. Bruno Fernandes popped up with big opportunities to ultimately compete with Bayern Munich. So they're not a million miles away. But lapses in concentration, lapses in focus, lapses in desire to play for Manchester United has now seen one of the great institutions for football be knocked out early doors. They've been completely underwhelming in this Champions League campaign. Now, is Man United's season over? Is obviously the title of the video, because they have the FA Cup to play for. Man United have the Premier League to play for. And the reason I say that is because there's 3 sides in the Premier League that are pulling away. You've got Arsenal, Liverpool, and of course Manchester City. But then there are a couple of sides that I think Man United aren't a million miles away from. They'll be looking at Aston Villa, they'll be looking at Spurs, they'll be looking at Newcastle. Brighton are in and around there, I know, and Chelsea have fallen off a little bit. But those first 3 sides that I say, I think United, pound for pound, might have better squads than them when everyone's fully fit. Shaw, Martinez, Varane, Wan-Bissaka. It's not a bad back line if Onana can keep things going. So the Premier League is there for the taking if Man United can get themselves into a position where Rashford is put in a position where he can contribute more to the side. Him, Garnacho, Højlund starts picking up goals in the Premier League is deeply, deeply needed at this club. They need a number 9 that they can fire things into and he can do things with power, with pace. Then they'll be looking at that opportunity to maybe correct the wrongs of not winning the FA Cup against Man City last season. And of course, they'll be looking at the opportunity to get in that 4th spot, get in that 5th spot. I don't know about the coefficient. You have to let me know in the comments down below about the coefficient status. But Man United could come 4th this season. They're not a million miles off it. Now, the result against Bournemouth was absolutely shocking, and some other results as well have been absolutely poor. But Man United will look and think if they get Martinez back fit, Casemiro is absolutely huge for them. When he's back and fully firing, the leadership in this side goes up 1,000,000%. And there's a bit of an unsung hero tonight for me, and that'd be Amrabat. I think he was good against Chelsea. I think he was good against Bayern Munich. And I think he's been decent when he's come in. He's been versatile. He's worked hard for the side. When I think it was Leroy Sané scored that goal against Man City, against Man United. He was the one that was galvanising the players. He was the one that kind of showing leadership on the pitch. So I think they're not a million miles away. They've got a front 3 with pace. I thought Garnacho was decent. Even, dare I say it, Anthony has shown a little bit of uptake in form. Now, Man United have obviously went on a decent run. They had one of the best forms in the league in the last 8 weeks. Ten Hag won Manager of the Month, Harry Maguire, etc. won Player of the Month. So they're not a million miles away. I think Aston Villa will drop off. I think they will look at the Europa Conference League. If they get to the semi-finals, suddenly there'll be 3 or 4 or 5 Premier League games in and around there that will be deeply affected by the away days, by the extra time, by the adrenaline getting shot out your legs when you're taking penalties. Then you have to go to these hard away days in the Premier League. I think Aston Villa's form may suffer. I really do. So when that happens, Man United have only got 1 game to think about. That might be a blessing in disguise. Man United may have 1 game to think about, especially if they lose early in the FA Cup as well. Just think about get everyone fully fit, Martinez, Varane, they can just get coached their way per. Every game is a pure coaching exercise, tailor-made to that game. And that might be to the benefit that Erik ten Hag can put his arm around for certain players and get some weird positivity out of this. I know it's coming 4th is abysmal. I think it is truly embarrassing for a club like Man United's stature doing that. But if there's any salvation for Man United, is getting back to that Premier League form, getting that Premier League form going again. And maybe they can get back in the Champions League. And if that's the standard that Man United want to set, I don't think it should be. And United fans obviously agree with me on that one. But that's just where it goes for Man United. So yeah, I don't think their season's quite over. But it's a shocking, shocking Champions League campaign after what was decent starting grounds for Ten Hag last season. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very, very soon.